Welcome to the Master Teacher Program. This is the first in a series of videos created by the MTP team to help you navigate through writing and researching in a graduate level program in education. Throughout the program, you will be asked to write about teaching and learning in several different formats. There are two common threads, however: journal writing and self-reflections on the assessment tasks. Almost all courses in the MTP will ask you to write a minimum of one journal. The purpose of journal writing is to provide the opportunity for you to communicate your thoughts and feelings about your own process of discovery, recognition, analysis, and learning. You are engaging in a focused discussion about the specific concepts and issues that the course raises, as well as personal beliefs and assumptions germane to those issues. The journal is not meant to be a record of what has been learned or an overview of key concepts. Instead, we want you to question and maybe even argue issues from opposing viewpoints. You should be evaluating issues critically and thoughtfully, and grapple intellectually with difficult issues or ambiguous implications. And of course, applying a theory or principle identified in the course to your classroom practices. In some courses, you will have a list of guiding questions to choose from. In other courses, there may be one main topic that you are to explore. Let's take a look at the grading rubric and what some of the other teachers in the program have to say about this form of writing. Here is the rubric that will be used to grade your journals. In some courses, it will be in paper format. In others, it will be integrated into Moodle.
In the journals, we're looking for evidence that you've read the material and worked through the ideas, and you're connecting this with your practice. So you take the prompt and run with it. You might not even know what you're going to write about when you start. Often you need to go through a bit of pre-writing to get yourself going. Students will say, I had a lot of trouble getting started, but I got a few paragraphs written down and then I came back to it a day later and suddenly I could pick out what was important to me and make it clearer. It's a good idea to leave yourself some time to do this, so to be able to go back and revisit it. That supports the reflective action that journal writing is demanding of you.
So when I read your journal, I'm looking for different things. Above all, what I'm looking for is an authentic reflection, a genuine reflection where you've really stopped and looked inward and thought about what it is that what you've read, what you've written, what you've discussed, what you've done for an assessment task. I'm looking for those aha moments, the things that sort of made you stop and say, oh, now I understand, or it all clicks, something has come together. I'm also looking for a discussion of things that have challenged us. So when we're writing up a paper or performing an assessment task to submit, is there something that you really struggled with, and how did you get past that? And how does your own struggle as a student or the challenges that you face as a student, how does that affect your teaching as well? And concepts or ideas that we encounter in the readings or in the class discussions that really make us stop and take stock and pause, even things that we don't agree with. Frequently in the readings we'll encounter ideas that maybe just don't apply or that another reading contradicts. And so how do we deal with those discrepancies or the gaps? How do we fill them in? And above all, I'm looking for an authentic voice. I want to know that you are talking to me when I read your journal.
A personal reflection of how you can improve things, how you can reflect on what you've done, what's worked well in the past, and what you hope will work well in the future, and adjustments that you need to make. But what we'd like to hear and read about in the learning journals has really to do with the expression of how this applies to you in whatever setting you have in your colleges, that you understand the material and have made it your own, and think about things maybe differently than you'd thought about them before.
And so what we're looking for when we want a learning journal is to witness the reflection process that the student is going through. There's a lot of material that we go over in our MTP courses, and it's so important to think them through and take time to manipulate that content and knowledge in our heads. And then the learning journal helps you put those thoughts down. However, you want to work on your first draft, and then after that, present something that is organized, that has a coherent line of thought, that refers to course material. So we're talking about notes, we're talking about readings, and obviously if you're talking about readings, if you're using that as evidence, then you need to reference properly, either in text or with a reference list. And the tone doesn't necessarily need to be an academic essay level sort of writing, but we don't want informal language. So you have to think about the words that you're using and choose them carefully. So we want to be able to read a final draft that is very well organized, that is thought through, and that is supported by what we've looked at together in class.
As someone who's completed around 15 learning journals, I would say that it has greatly contributed to my confidence as a teacher, especially as a relatively new one who's still building up my identity. I would say that it helped me reflect on where I can improve and where I'm doing well as really connecting the theoretical things directly to where it applies to me in practice. And looking back, reading back on these journals has shown me just how much I've grown throughout the program.
For any and all learning journals in the MTP program, the highest level of generative AI use allowed is level 1, with the caveat that we don't actually want you to use it for brainstorming, rather only to improve your written language. This is because what's important to us is for your authentic voice, your thoughts, your reflections, your struggles to shine through. So with that, we hope that you will be limiting the use to improving your written communication and not actually to help you organize, brainstorm, or formulate these unique individual thoughts.
We ask that you do a self-reflection at the end of your journal, and a lot of people have trouble knowing what that is. Am I marking myself? Am I saying whether I did a good or a bad job? Not exactly. It's more of a reflection on how you went about this task. What was tricky about it? What did you like about it? What did you learn as you were going through the process? The self-reflections are actually my favorite part because I learn new things about students. At the same time as you're learning new things about yourselves. And that's the whole purpose of this kind of reflective writing.